Welcome to the Quantum Leap Your Business and Life podcast. My name is Bethany Londyn, and I am an energetic VC supporting CEOs and entrepreneurs in multiplying revenues and opportunities of their business through intuitive guidance and energetic healing. I am obsessed with finding and releasing blocks so that you can start receiving the guidance and opportunities that will be bringing you quantum leaps with ease. If you are looking to upgrade your business, life, spirituality, or need a perspective shift to flow, you've come to the right place. Leave it to me to pull out the juicy stories, quantum leap hacks, and how our inspiring guests have tackled obstacles and gotten into the flow to reach new heights of success. My intention is to bring clarity and massive awareness that infinite possibilities are everywhere. Your next moment could be a miraculous one. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Let's uncover their strategies, have fun, and see how we can quantum leap together. Oh my goodness, I've got a great podcast for you today. We have Ruben Rojas, the artist of love. He has so many quantum leaps in his life, and he shares with us many of them. And you'll see how even though he went from like bankruptcy to being a success as a financial advisor or in real estate, now he is quantum leaping in what he truly loves. He is going to share with us how he works through the mentally tough days to keep himself moving forward on brand in the name of love. And also his advice for how he continues to jump multiple levels of success on, honestly, it feels like a daily basis. I've known him only for 8 years now, but he's gone from, financial advisor to total success, and the world, the universe is his limit. So let's get started. Ruben Rojas. All right, I have the fabulous Ruben Rojas, and I am so beyond excited to have him here today because, oh my goodness, this is going to be the 4th episode. And also he is all about love, which you'll find out here shortly if you don't know him yet. And one of the ways we met had to do with the number 4, which meant love. So how about them apples? I have known him for quite a while, and so I have witnessed this quantum leap that he has taken a part in with his love art business. We used to play art, however you want to say that. We would be like, let's do art today. And his business has taken off in so many ways. I should have that love painting behind me, but I don't. Instead, I'm wearing his t-shirt. So let's jump on in. Hi, Ruben.
Hey, how you doing, Bethany?
Good. I would love to hear, of course, we want to get into your quantum leap, but let's share some of the manifestations, the leap that you have had, like where, I mean, you just did the NFL. You just worked with the NFL. So for being an artist and working with the NFL, I mean, that is like everybody's dream, right? So yeah, share more of your manifestations because you've been on TV, like so many things.
I guess to put it easy, right? To quantify it, I throw a lot of stuff out there. I just say it. So, if you want to speak things into existence, as they say, and you've got to believe it, but just repeating it and repeating it and repeating it. And, there's still a lot of things that are yet to happen that will eventually happen because I keep thinking it and repeating it. And eventually part of that is that someone's going to hear it besides you hearing it. The cool thing about
when you're saying repeating it, are you telling people I'm going to be in the NFL, or are you telling yourself? Just what does repeating mean?
Like, I'll give you one of the ones I'm working on right now. Is like the Olympics are coming to Los Angeles. I have a few goals with that. One being, like, I want to design the Olympic uniforms for our team because America gets to show up and needs to show up and has to show up with love. Like, we're not showing up that way. And imagine if all these athletes are coming out in red, white, and blue love. I've mocked up uniforms like a couple years ago, and I keep showing it to people and sharing it and talking about it. eventually one person's like, oh, I could connect you to the IOC, or I can get you here, or I can get you there, or, well, Ralph Lauren has that contract. I'm like, it doesn't have to be my name on it designing it. I just want to design what it looks like. Whether Ralph Lauren produces it or whoever, that's besides the point. So it's just saying it over and over and over. Like with the NFL or with BMW or Nike. I always talk about Nike. Like,
Oh,
and your
yes, you
dad
do.
worked at Nike. Like, I want to do an Air Jordan 1 love collab with them. You see J Balvin now coming out with 2 of his shoes. So I know it's possible. I know as a
Come on,
sneakerhead and
Dad,
with
hook 'em
sneaker
up.
culture, let's go Tinker. Can you have him get Tinker on
Oh,
the phone
Tinker.
before he
I used to go to
retires?
Tinker's parties, house parties,
Well, I
as
think
a
Bethany can
child.
make it happen. Bethany can make this
Yeah, I might
quantum
be able to
leap
be.
happen. So it's just talking about it and doing it. The cool thing about the
Yeah.
NFL is, like, I played football and I played a couple years of college football, and then I competed at every level of CrossFit. So as an athlete mindset, I'm like, yo, I made it to the league. Maybe I'm not playing on the field, but I'm playing in the league with the league, and we're playing on a bigger playground than just the game of football. Like, we're inviting people to choose love. So that's how this happens. I just throw it out there, and I gotta believe it. Like, I believe Elon Musk is either gonna let me paint a rocket somehow, or we're gonna put art
Ooh,
in his rocket, and we're gonna send a piece of art or the first mural to Mars. Like, the chances of me painting
yes.
it on Mars and ever making it back, probably not. I've got a kid and a wife and a family. I got things to do here, but sending a pre-painted mural up there could be kind of cool.
Mm.
So just getting it out there, and I've toured
Like,
SpaceX.
yeah,
I work out with a guy
so
that
beautiful.
he's a rocket scientist. So it's like little things just start happening, and eventually it's like he's gonna be like, "Hey, Ruben, Elon said yes, you can put a
I know
painting up
people
in
at
the next ship."
Tesla that work on the launches.
Yeah.
So yeah, oh my goodness. So you guys listen to how he's expanding and expanding and expanding. Like, I think that's part of the key here is he is constantly growing from one thing. Like, for me as an artist, I want to paint a whole bunch of different things. Like, he has really fine-tuned and expanded what the word love can be on, like from paintings to cars. Yeah, you got BMW. He's sponsored by BMW. He drives around in an X5 that has
Mhm.
love all over it. And you've done another BMW recently. Like, how did they find you?
Mhm.
Were you already talking about putting it on a car in general, or were you talking about like how you just were just now putting it specifically on a BMW? I'm just curious.
It's all organic. So I always talk about, like, dude, it'd
Yeah.
be really cool to paint some cars, like driving around all over the place. People see it
Yeah.
everywhere on the freeway. It's actually a reminder for me. I'm like, if I get a little road rage, wait, I'm driving a car that has love on it. Like,
Yeah.
relax. So that happened organically. Someone messaged me. They wanted to buy a print or a painting or something for their friend for her birthday during the pandemic. And I'm like, oh, it's close by. I'll just deliver. I'll just deliver it. Don't worry about it. And I went and delivered it, knocked on her door, met her, presented it. I'm like, hey, and I happen to be the artist. Here you go. She happened to work at BMW, and then later she just, I guess, Googled me, looked it up, sent me a message. So a lot of these things happen that way organically. So it's throwing it out there and believing in it, but it's also just showing up for the opportunity of when it happens or you come across the person, they actually see that you're being exactly what you're putting out there. And then when they Google you, they're like, oh, this all matches up. Like, you're being the thing, you're showing up as the thing, you're walking the talk, all the things. So I think all of that is part of it. So it's not just, let me throw it out there, it's throwing it out there and doing the work and executing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, so let's backtrack, you guys. So I know Ruben when we were just playing around with art. He was teamed up with this company, Beautify Earth. They're a nonprofit, and they were throwing graffiti on the walls. And he was my life insurance guy. So what happened from life insurance guy to taking that quantum leap, which has continued to quantum leap as an artist, which is obviously, as you're sharing now, there's so many takeaways. So what would you say? Because he's constantly been on my back to quantum leap and be full 100% energy healer. And I still am dabbling in real estate because I'm like, I love real estate too. But yeah, tell us, is there a moment? Was there a mindset thing? Did someone say something to you? So curious.
Well, then I have to backtrack to a little bit of the origin story.
Perfect.
So if we go way back, I went to school to study to become an orthopedic surgeon. So I have everything leading up to med school, and I didn't go to med school because a couple of reasons. But the main thing is that my buddy's like, come try out real estate. Made 18 grand my first month in real estate, $500,000 in debt, 10 more years of school, bald, fat, stressed out. Who knows? Who knows where I would be for 18,000? What could be the next month? Oh, the next month happened to be a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And I'm 22, 23, 24, right? At that age, I mean, even now, a lot of us get lost in the fact that we should define our success and who we are for what we are, not but what we show. And during those times, I mean, I'm Colombian, we're already ostentatious. I'm a male in Los Angeles. I was single, like making a lot of money. Of course, I want the nice car and the rims and the blinged out watches and all these things. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with liking nice things. The issue and the problem was defining who you were, filling in any gaps and holes in your self-love and your self-worth and your belonging by buying these things. And that's the big problem I see in the world, right? We don't feel good enough, pretty enough, worthy. We don't love ourselves. We're not kind to ourselves. So we find all these things, right? Plastic surgery, every pill under the sun to try to get skinny, buying things to make us like, oh, hey, cool watch, cool purse, to find our validation. And then I'm making a lot of money. I get through this point. I lose it all in 2008. The recession. I go bankrupt, get rid of the houses, do all the things. Lost it all strategically though. Like, yes, I did go bankrupt and I sold off a lot of things. And it wasn't super frivolous. I was still smart. I saved half my money, which allowed me to carry on for a few years. There was a lot of things in there pre-bankruptcy as the spiral started to go down. But for the next year, I found myself, living basically back at home, moved in with my brother because we had a family condo, which was a great opportunity, and figuring out how do I rebuild.
Is that where I went?
Woodland
That
Hills?
one? Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. And I'm just figuring this stuff out. I'm like, what am I gonna do with my life? And where am I gonna go? And eventually people are like, go down to finance. So I became a financial advisor, selling life insurance, investments, and retirement. Great business. Great things for people that people don't think they need. Start making money, start validating my success with money again. I'm like, oh no, we're back in this thing again. 5 years into it, leaders conference and rookie of the year, all these things. But I'm miserable and I'm depressed and I'm unhappy. And I'm like, I don't want to be doing this. And I started doing everything under the sun to avoid my life. Led me to do some work on myself. That led me to my first mural. That led me to finding my artist self. That's always been there. As a kid, I've always painted. I've always drawn. I used to do book covers in high school. So it wasn't like I was never an artist and all of a
Can we
sudden
pause on that real quick? I want to ask more because I always love to dig into the childhood. So were you supported as a child doing art? Like, were you encouraged or it was just something you did? Were you made fun of? Or you just like, what's the story there?
Wasn't not encouraged, right? My mom put us in oil painting classes and charcoal painting classes and wood whittling, like so every weekend we had create electronics and robotics. Like, no, we had tons of stuff to keep us busy. What it was never told to go do that for your career path or for your life path, or that was the difference. I think it's like, go be a doctor, go be a lawyer, go into banking, go into insurance, go into the traditional route. So it was encouraged in the sense, yeah, go have fun with art, but it wasn't like, go be an artist. Plus,
Yeah.
back then, it was pre everything now. There was no creator economy. So art wasn't or had the opportunity it has now for you to do it the way you want to do it. It was more traditional. And I was good at science and all that too. So that kind of just went down that path with school.
Medical. Yeah.
So once I painted my first mural, I did another. That was like 2013, 14, 15, 16. I'm still doing finance, 2017, because I'm like, how am I going to make money at this thing? It's a nonprofit. It's, what we do with Beautify Earth. It's like, hey, give me $200 to cover some paint to paint this thing. And I'm there for a week painting it. Like, it was because I loved it and putting the message out there to the world. And finally, 2018, I'm like, I can't do this anymore because I'm sabotaging my finance career because I don't want to do it. So why would I try to succeed at it anymore? But I'm not letting art take off because I don't know what it's like to go all in. So in 2018, I'm like, I'm out. Stop going to the office. And I had no choice but to make this thing work. So it kind of just took off.
So that was the
'cause I went on-
dichotomy running in your mind. And you were just like, I am over it. No one said anything. This was an internal conversation. And you're like, done.
Yeah. Some of my clients said, like, you should be doing that thing, not this thing. Like, we'll be okay. So
you
that
had the support.
reinforced some things because I'm really loyal to my clients and my customers and everything that I do. So, I mean, that was part of it, but that wasn't it.
Yeah.
I just had to do it.
You just knew you had to do it and you followed that truth. Your truth became louder than
Worst case, I could have gotten back to finance, right?
or real estate.
Still insurance license. I let all my investment stuff go because you have to practice it to keep it. But yeah, I'm not going back. I'm not looking back. Funny though, people ask me for advice all the time now. I'm like, oh, but when I was in the business, you thought I was selling you something. Now you just want my knowledge. Anyway.
Yeah. So people still hit you up?
Oh yeah. I mean, I practice for myself. Like I have all my insurances and I have all my investments and I fund my Roths and we have to, so I practice all of that. So
yeah. So, okay. So you took the leap and you're like, this is the only way. There's no turning back. I'm moving forward. And were you painting and putting stuff was it the murals? Were you, was it an Instagram thing? What?
Murals on Instagram. I did a lot of paintings, but I hadn't really started sharing the paintings yet. I just kept doing it and I kept expanding it. And then 2020, I'm like, I should do some t-shirts, and then started the clothing line as you're wearing it. And I'm wearing, I've done sculptures now. We have a podcast now. So all of it is mediums of creating and reinforcing the message of living through love. And a lot of those other mediums aren't essentially the artwork. Like the artwork is the bread and butter. That's what really, brings the income and where I want to go. Like I want to be in a museum, multiple museums. Like I want to get to Jeff Koons level. And we're getting
the
there.
Andy Warhol one I sent you the other day.
Exactly. All of that, right? But hopefully not when I'm dead, as far as the value of the art.
Right.
But get to those levels of influence with my art. But everything else I'm doing is a reinforcement of the lifestyle, of the message, of inviting people to choose love and live through love. So
yeah. No, it's such a beautiful message. I'm curious though, as any entrepreneur, especially an artist, when we are told what is the artist struggle, like you can't make a way being an artist. So how did you combat those kind of beliefs that I'm sure were out there somewhere? Because or were you getting coaching? Like what was the support? You're married. I mean, is there something that really encouraged you continuing the drive, or is it you're just really your own best coach?
One of the conversations that I had with myself, a come to Jesus conversation. It's like I had to look back and take inventory of everything in my life. I've always been a hustler. I've always been an entrepreneur. Like in 8th grade, I started a business. Like because there was things that I wanted that I didn't want to ask for. So I'm like, let me go figure out how to make money so I can get the things that I want.
What were you doing in 8th grade?
A few things. There was like designing book covers. There was shoplifting. There was yeah, those were the. There's been some illegal stuff. You know, there's been
Okay,
a
okay,
music
okay. Yeah, there's
business.
hesitation there. Okay.
Well, how much of that do we want to put out? No, it's truth
Right.
though. It's all practice. Look at anyone.
Hmm.
You know, trading sports cards and comic books and different things
Right.
like that. So
So it wasn't
it
like
was
one thing,
just
it was just like an array, anything to get some cash.
yeah, provide value for monetary gain so that I can get what I want for myself. So it's always been a self-starter, self-earner, but in everything. So then I basically said, Ruben, you've always been able to take chances, jump off cliffs, and figure it out. Why are you hesitating here? Is it because now I'm older? Is it because I mean still wasn't married? I had a girlfriend at the time, but like, what is it? You know, doing it with a kid. Like I have a kid now. Like this has to work, but there's nothing else that I can do. You know, and we want to keep growing the family and keep making everything happen. So it was just realizing like I've always been a self-starter. I've always been able to succeed if I put my mind to it. So why not continue to bet on myself? Where was the self-doubt that didn't have me jump sooner? So I was just like, you got to bet on yourself.
So is this like you sitting with yourself meditating? Is this journaling? Is this like you screaming in the car, come to Jesus? Like,
It's me in my head. So I guess
okay,
if you're in your head, you're meditating.
okay.
But it wasn't like I was sitting there and breathing.
Yeah.
But no, that was part of the conversation was like at the end of the day, I believe in taking as much personal responsibility as possible. There's a lot of things we can control. And if we only focus on we can control more often than not, then we're going to be in a better place, right? I can't get mad at myself for trying. I could get mad at myself for not trying, right? We can control our word. So if we give our word and we break it, that's us breaking it. That's something we can control that you can choose whether you want to break it or not break it. So there's a very few things how we use our time, but we can control how people experience us, take us in, take in my work. I just got to keep putting it out there until they realize it, right? We
Yeah.
invite
Like
them
the
to
four
it until they
agreements.
choose it. Yeah, you know, so there's that.
All right. So I work with, I talk with a lot of CEOs and work with them. And I feel like the number one thing for them is the pressure of support if they're married and have kids, with most of them do. I think all of them really is the pressure of having a family and providing. And this weighs them down. It weighs them in they have decision-making fatigue. And then it's like the employees and everything. So for you, I feel like you've used this to support you. I don't know, would you, if you look at like the correlation of your up leveling in your business, is there any correlation with like, let's say Z being pregnant and having a child on the way? I'm curious.
Are you asking if that made me work harder or bigger? No, a lot of people ask, like, now that you have Remy, how has your work changed? I mean, it hasn't changed. Nothing has changed other than that it's way more important. It's more important for the world, but because I have a kid that's going to live in the world when I'm gone. It's more
Mm,
important because I have a family that I'm supporting, but it's not the thing that made me drive or work harder. My mission, I think it's because my mission and vision is so big. Those are
yeah.
things that, you know, if I get down and out and burnt out in the corner or have a moment of depression or whatever, then I look at like, oh, look at my beautiful wife and my beautiful kid and this family that I'm building. Let's keep going. So it's fuel, but it's not a motivator in the
Yeah.
sense of because
And I
I
don't feel
remember
like you're
someone.
weighed down at all by it either, like other people are when they have that I'm talking
No,
to.
I mean it's stressful, but how can I let something weigh me down when I chose it? Right? I chose this life.
Yeah.
Like I got to
Yeah.
keep moving forward. It's a choice. Like we're here. We chose this. And of course, nothing's perfect and there's ups and there's downs, but it's like I chose it and I know where I want to go and where I keep going. And, you know, sometimes it's a little slower getting there. Sometimes it's like, wow, we just took like 18 jumps. But yeah.
Love it. And I've seen your post. You say, I consciously choose this again every single day. Like you write that.
Hmm.
Okay, beautiful. Well, my takeaway, I would say, is really expanding what you can do, because we all have limits to ourselves. And it's like, okay, I want to be a known podcast host. And maybe that's like my limit. It's not, but I'm just sharing. So what you've done is you've really taken it to like the nth degree and continue with like the Mars story and the lipstick. It's just so amazing. And you're expressing it, you're vocalizing it right now here and with others. And that's like so phenomenal. But now I would love like connecting the dots backwards, which I've been working on with you. I'm curious what you would say the 3 takeaways for quantum leaping are.
I mean, I don't believe that you have to have clarity in your vision, because our vision becomes clearer and clearer as we do it. I think you need to have a trajectory of where your vision's going, right? You know, I started with murals. I'm like, oh, let's paint murals everywhere and put them in different cities across the world. What went next? What went next? How did I make that bigger? And then eventually I figured out like, oh, all this is lived through love. Like, so I think it's like have a mission and a vision, but realize that it'll become clearer as you continue down that path, and it can shift and it can change. You know,
Yeah.
not saying this is going to happen, but tomorrow maybe I'll never make another piece of art again and I become something else. Who knows? And it's okay as long as I'm still on that vision. So that's one.
No, that's a great one though. Because a lot of people I think don't take a step forward because they're like, I need to be clear and have this all dialed. So that's beautiful.
Purpose. I think purpose is also overused. Like, it's a question. It's a good question to ask. Like, what's my purpose? Why am I here? Why am I alive? Why I am unvaluable? I am unworthy. Your purpose is to live your life and maximize your life however you deem fit. Your purpose isn't to live out your parents' dreams. You know, I think now even more as a parent, I'm like, whatever Remy becomes, he becomes. And I'm not going to live vicariously through him in the sense of like, oh, I only went to college football. Oh, you're going to go to the NFL, and like push him all the way through. Like, you know, I'm not going to validate me as a person through my kids' accomplishments. You know, I've read some books, I've heard some other people talk about this subject matter, and I just want him to be his own best, perfect little dude. And the only way I can ensure that in controlling it is how I show up in the world. So if I show up loving myself, he's going to see, oh, that's how you love yourself. I can't say, hey, Remy, go love yourself. Go in the mirror and say, I love
Yeah.
you, Remy. Like you can't do that.
Right.
It's not that what it means. So I think that is a point too. So
I'm like,
your
that'd be a
purpose
really
is
cute
just,
Instagram though. Just saying.
yeah. I did do a Dear Remy love letter video that he'll get to
Mm,
watch one day. Um,
mm,
but yeah, your purpose is to live your life how you want to live your life. So like it's like, oh, unless I'm the president of the US, I didn't fulfill a purpose. Yeah, according to who? You know? So anyway, so
yeah.
those two things, clarity in your vision could change that perspective, purpose, and the last one, it's again, it's choosing love. It's not easy. I'm not talking about romantic comedies and Valentine's Day. You know, romance is great and passion is great. Those are different things, but choosing love is hard. I still have a hard time doing it. You know, I still get pissed off and want to flick somebody off. I'm like, I can't do that. Like that's, but we're human and we're fallible and we have emotions and they can spiral out of control. And it's hopefully practicing to choose love to help find ourselves again, whether it's relationships with ourselves, with our spouses, with our kids, with our friends, with our employees, with our businesses, with the world. It doesn't matter. So choosing love. So yeah, those are my 3 things.
Love it. Don't worry about the clarity, honor purpose, and choose love. Amazing. You are always such an inspiration. I always love spending time with you. Even if you're throwing my feet to the fire.
Only because I
So
love you.
good. Only because you love me. Oh my goodness.
I also
Where
ask
can
you for permission.
you do?
Most of the time, I'm like, hey, do you want some feedback? Can I give you? You're like, okay.
Okay. That's funny. I don't remember that, but I'm sure you did. At what
Do
part
you remember
wasn't
the other part?
important? I remember the other part, the part that has a meaning. Yeah. So, where can people find you, learn all about you, buy your gear, your art, go to your events, all the things?
At Ruben Rojas, RubenRojas.com. Just Google Ruben Rojas. The podcast is called Live Through Love. Yeah.
Did that TV show ever come out?
Yeah. There's a pilot. It's on Discovery Plus.
Oh my God, I need to watch it. What's that called?
Public Artist.
Public Artist. Go watch one. Public Artist. Amazing.
I'm the host, not the artist.
Yes, he's the host on that. And work with us, envision him working with the Olympics. Let's hold that vision so that it manifests and that there's some love all over the rocket. Not the rocket. What is it?
Could be the rocket, could be in Mars, could be a care package, who knows? Something out in outer space.
Yes. Love it. Holding the vision. All right. Well, you are such a blessing and inspiration, and I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to join the Quantum Leap, your business and life podcast, and looking forward to the next Quantum Leaps. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you loved what you heard, be sure to subscribe and let me know by leaving a review on iTunes. It fuels me to keep bringing you more juicy guests. And if you aren't already following me on social media, check out at Bethany Londyn on Instagram, LONDYN, that's the cool factor, or go to bethanylondyn.com for healing opportunities, courses, and additional thoughts. And don't hesitate to create some IG stories tagging me and our guests with your favorite quotes so we can reshare them. I can't wait to connect with you in the next episode. And in the meantime, wishing you that quantum leap.